All right, folks, here we are. We are live. It is November 3rd, 2020. It is going to be amazing, and I'm trying to figure this thing out. So here we go. Uh, it has been awesome. It is outside. It is chilly, but it is a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. After Monday morning, yesterday morning, we got up to a little bit of white stuff on the grass, and so I don't know what part of the country you're in or what part of the world you're in, but it's good to have you here. As we start every day, we send our heartfelt prayers out for everybody that has been affected by the COVID in any way, shape, or form. We send our prayers out for those that have been lost, loved ones that have been lost, and may the Lord open his arms and take them into his heaven above. As we move forward, today is election day in the US, so today is going to be an interesting day to see how this thing turns out. Been a lot of discussion, and I'm sure whatever part of the world you're in, you have heard about our president and what is going on in politics in the USA. I know who I want to win. I know who I voted for. I'm not going to get into that here, but I truly believe that the future is at stake. Not only the future of the USA, but the future of the entire world. Because you see, there aren't a lot of leaders out there, but there is one, and we'll leave it at that. Today is really, I want to start out with chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich. This book, this is the most important thing you can do when you talk about desire, which is the name of the chapter, you know? And there's in each of these chapters, Napoleon Hill tells stories of people. And these stories, they you know, the one story in there was Burn the Boats. And it was about a leader of an army, and he was going against an army that was much bigger than his. And when they got off the ships on the shore, and I'm sure many of you may have heard this story, but he told them to burn the boats. There was no escape. There was no turning back. It was win or die. That was what it was. So when we think of desire, it has to be the desire of the thing we want. What do you want? What are you looking for? Are you want success of some kind? You want financial success of some kind? You want happy life? You want to live along? Whatever it is you honestly and truly desire, you have to want it that bad. So when we talk about this, and there's a saying in the book, in the chapter here, and put my fingers on it, I know the quote, and it is, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That is a saying I've known for a long time. And in this chapter, the Spur, the man who burned bridges, 6 ways to turn desires into gold. And it is amazing. This book has changed so many lives, including my own. And I read this book every year. I read it every year in January. It's the first thing I do every year is I reread this book, make notes, and set my mind out for the year and for the desire that I want to accomplish this year. It is so important to do that. And as we think of prosperity economics and tying the things that we're taught in these key self-help books that grow us and change us, but it all starts in the beginning. You got to want it. You got to want it that bad. It's about desire. what do you desire? Or what are you willing to do to get it? And if I put on my coaching hat and I ask some questions, and the questions are really powerful, because what do you really want? What do you desire? Have you written it down? Have you written out a very, very detailed description of what you want? Have you written out the steps and the plan that you know the things that you're going to have to do in order to get what you want? Have you written it out? I had a conversation not too long ago on Facebook. I've got 5,000 followers on Facebook. And that is absolutely blowing my mind. But it is wonderful, because it gives me an audience. And the most important thing that I want to do is I want to change your life. I want to make a difference in everybody's lives that I meet. The things that I have been through, 30 years ago, I was on the edge of bankruptcy. I had gone through a lawsuit for 3.5, close to 4 years, and it took all my confidence away. I believed my career in the financial services business was over. And a turn of events, a deposition with an attorney and the CPA's son, turned the tide, because it was revealed that all of this came from this CPA's son, who worked in his father's office, didn't even have a college degree, and was holding himself out at something that he really wasn't, and wasn't ever going to be. But I got caught up in that and got dragged into it and put in between the client and this CPA, and I was exonerated. What a day that was when the deposition, and within a week, I got a letter from the lawyers that was releasing me from the lawsuit, and they had decided that the problem was at the CPA's office and they were going after the CPA. Wow, I felt like the whole world was lifted off of my shoulders, but I was sitting in a terrible, terrible mess. Because during the 3.5 years up to that moment in time, I had lost my confidence. I had stopped selling, so I had stopped earning income. I started to spend the savings down. I refinanced everything. I borrowed more money. And I'm sure some of you can relate to what I'm talking about. I started into the Amway business, and I thought that was going to be the answer, because I believed the insurance business, my financial business, was over. So I'm over here. And the blessing there was I got to meet a man named Jody Victor. And I'll bet there are some of you listening out there that have heard that name. But Mr. Victor gave me a hug at a meeting the first night I met him. And it was the beginning of changing my life, which started the journey that has gone on for 28, 29 years to bring me to the moment I am today. And my dream and desire was very clear. All I wanted was to become a man like Mr. Victor, that I could give somebody a hug and whisper in their ear, I believe in you. I really do. You can change the world. You can change your world and those around you. And that was the beginning of the change. And this was the first book that Mr. Victor gave me to read. And I consumed this book. But I missed the secret in the book, and I'll share the secret with you. In the book, Napoleon Hill, in one section of the book, he says, for this book to actually work and make a profound difference in your future, you got to read it 3 times. You got to read it 3 times, and you got to do the homework. You got to do the homework that Napoleon puts in that book for you to do. And it has truly made a difference in my life. You know, I'm sitting here and we're talking about prosperity beyond your belief that is possible in front of you. I don't care whether you're in Uganda or Ghana or wherever you are in the world right now and listening to me. The power of God is inside of you. He created us in his image with all power over all living things. But you got to believe. You got to believe. You got to believe that the great thing can happen in your life. This message that I'm putting out, and we're going to cover every day, we're going to cover every chapter. It is that important. And I hope to create a massive sale of these books where people are buying them and doing something with them because they will change your life. Over the next few months, we're going to cover several books that I have consumed and I reconsume every year, and they feed my desire. They feed my desire in what I want. And what I want at this moment in my life is I pray every day to have an ability to change your life, to give you hope that it can be different in the future than it is today in your life. It is amazing. You know, the things in here, the accident that changed the life. He won a new world with 6 cents. Thought that works miracles. Mental chemistry works magic. Those are some of the topics in this chapter called desire. If I go from there, and let's go to prosperity economics, and I'm thinking over there, and what is the difference between prosperity economic thinking and typical financial planning, typical financial thinking that is driven by the rest of the world? Remember, we talked last week about sitting across the desk. On that side of the desk is the financial world. There they are. They're sitting there all around you, all the way to Wall Street. Every country in the world is tied in some way to the massive, massive, giant redwood oak, I refer to it as, in Wall Street. And that redwood oak is the largest tree in the world, and the roots of that tree have grown all the way around the globe, and every bank in every free country is connected to that tree on Wall Street that is the financial world, and everything is connected to it. And there are 4 rules. There is 4 only. And if you sat down with them and you walked in and I said, Mr. Banker, I have some money. How much of my money do you want me to put in your bank? And the answer would be simple. I want all of your money. I want all of it. Okay, I get paid every couple of weeks, periodically. Should I give you that also? Oh yeah, we have direct deposit. You can direct deposit it right into your account. We'll take care of all that. So I'm giving you all my money, more ongoing. Now, how long are you going to keep it? Oh, leave it here forever. We're going to take good care of it. So rule number 1, I want all of your money. Rule number 2 is more ongoing. Number 3 is I want you to leave it here for a long, long time. And you get ready to retire someday, and you go to the banker and say, Mr. Banker, how much money do you want me to take out of your bank? Oh, only what you need. Just take it out in dribbles and drabs. So think about that. And that is the challenge we all have. There are 5 financial elements that you have to look at and examine with every decision you make. Risk, taxes, regulation, inflation, and depreciation of the money. Devaluing the money. So those 5 things. So now if I look at prosperity economics and the thoughts behind prosperity economics, here it is right here. Number 1, financial planning. Meet needs and goals only. So they want to keep you in that acceptable level of mediocrity versus pursue wants and dreams based on unlimited ideas, what is possible. Minimize requirements. How much do I have to save? Versus optimizing opportunities. How else can I build wealth? Mindset. In other words, I have to change the way I think. Isn't that really what we're talking about? We got to change the way we think. I went through that. When I was at the bottom of the pit, ready to file bankruptcy, I thought it was over. I had to find a new way of thinking, and that's what Mr. Victor brought to me. Because the night I went to that meeting, the night that I went to meet him, the people that took me there, they knew nothing about this stuff going on in my life. I sat down in the 3rd row in the front middle aisle, and Mr. Victor got up there to talk. And as he started to talk, he looked me right in the eye, and said, sometimes somebody just needs a hug. He stepped down off this little stage, picked me up out of my chair and gave me a hug. And I bawled like a baby. I get emotional when I tell this story, but he whispered in my ear, Tom, I believe in you. I believe in all of you out there. You are the future of the world out there. And if I can make a difference in that, that's what I'm about. That's really what it's all about. I'm going to cut it off there. We're 20 minutes in. I will be back tomorrow, and the chapter tomorrow is about faith. Gotta have faith. You gotta believe the great thing can happen, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, get my book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project. You can also get it by going to cfo-project.com, put in your name and email. You get a link and you get a free download. You want to tell your friends about cfo-project.com. We need to build an army of people that are thinking better, thinking more correctly. And I'm not telling that you're bad or thinking wrong. All we are is product of the financial world that we have been exposed to, the atmosphere that we have been part of since we were born. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon. Have a great day. Make it a great day. See you then.